Live, deep in the heart of West Texas, it's the James Hendricks Show, with talent being rented through God. Hello everybody, I've got to say, I may briefly suspend operations on my daily news show. I haven't decided. But thank goodness tomorrow is Fearless Faith Friday. And I may have more faith days because, well, quite frankly, I'm looking at the news around me and it is discouraging. Okay? I gathered two news stories from the New American magazine. The first one is Texas school shooting puts gun control front and center. Alright, and I know my views about this are controversial. But I, for one thing, am getting sick and tired of Biden's masterpiece of blasphemy. In fact, that's what we're going to go ahead and call this show. Some people don't catch this. But the way I was, being raised Southern Baptist, and going 1 year to Christian school at the Baptist church I attended as a boy, I want to tell you something. It is a masterpiece of blasphemy right up to the elbow. Wake up, America. And what is the media doing on both sides of the aisle? You know what? I'm ashamed of how the news is being carried today. Oh, be afraid. Be afraid. Stir the pot. Stir the pot. It's the 2022 election. Let's get everybody mad. Stir the pot as if the American people aren't mad enough already. You can't tell me that some of this stuff ain't being orchestrated to tear apart the fabric of America. I mean, come on. These woke corporations in 2020, they orchestrated everything perfectly. And why? So that they could buy the election. Buy the election. My hope is that the American people say, hey, enough is enough. Let's just vote all the rascals out. All the corrupt politicians on both sides of the aisle and start from scratch. The answer is not gun control. And I know some people might disagree with me on what I think the answer is. And I know my best friend and I, we got into a discussion. I can't say it was an argument. I told him that I wanted to bring back character education and prayer and reading the Bible. And he said, well, but Jimmy, what about those from other religions? We give them the same right to practice as they see fit. But the majority of Americans, and I'm hoping that we hold on to this, I'm hoping we don't buy into all this reactive junk that I see every day. And I'll be honest with you, that's why I wouldn't come back to report the news and use, guest personalities that are a part of myself to report the truth. Because quite frankly, I've had it. The school shootings in Texas. Now, I'm going to be reading into this wrong. Some of the news outlets may be able to have some, look at it. But still, the way I was raised, independent Southern Baptist, you do not use God's name to drive in a political point unless it's something that you can back up in the Word of God. You don't do that. You don't play that. And the WHO are withdrawing some of Biden's sovereignty requests. We're ceding control of some of our health care, supposedly, over to the WHO. Where is the ire? Where is the righteous indignation of Christian Americans who say, okay, enough. Okay, maybe Trump was right in some ways. Let's drain this swamp. Let's drain it, blow it up, and pave all over it. And start fresh. Those are the congressmen that are sticking to conservative Christian principles, and I do not care which side of the aisle is. If they're willing to stick with that, and they're still in power, like Joe mentioned, maybe they should stay in power. I don't know. But I think also maybe we should go back to, as the Reverend Earl Jackson, who was a conservative commentator in the mid-1990s, he recommended a citizen legislature back in Congress. And you know what? Maybe that wouldn't hurt. Maybe that wouldn't hurt because of the BS factor that's being set up by the left and woke corporate America. We as Americans, John Q. Publix, have got to say, enough is enough. I tell you, before I found out about this 18-year-old kid, who went into elementary school and started aiming fire on teachers and kids, I'm glad they got rid of him. But the answer was never gun control. But both sides of the aisle want to play the game issue of life like a damn Stradivarius. When we need to get to the heart of the matter. Some people say that I'm too harsh, that I'm too, slick back politically, wanting to return back to character education. Let me ask you something. What do you think caused this to have war zones in our public schools? It's a lack of moral and character education and mental health awareness. In the 40s and 50s, the problems in school were chewing gum and talking. You don't know what they are? In the 2020s, it's rape and murder. Guys, I'm going to speak my piece because I've had it. And then we're going to go into Fearless Faith Friday tomorrow. Thank goodness. And I may suspend the weekend edition this week because, quite frankly, I've had it. And I hope that enough of the American people have had it. Podcasters on the east side of the aisle can be lulled by corporate sponsors. And don't get me wrong, there are some businesses that I believe in. But I'm not a sellout. I teach correct biblical principles on any of my shows, regardless of whether they're faith-building shows or personal development or this political show, which I agonized about creating in the first place. Because I had shows with other titles that didn't feature me. And people tell me over the years, well, you need to have your own show with your own name. You know what? This is it. Because I'm a conservative federalist. I'm ashamed of both parties. And it's time for a change. It's time for a change. Enough is enough. It's time for us as people to fight with all we have to take this country back. Now, I hope you enjoy listening to the James Hendricks Show. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of receiving most of daily updates. It's Jimi Hendrix saying until next time, take care and be proactively informed. And God bless you.